I'm Warwick Cox. This is how to present with confidence. So when we present with confidence, we always want to warm up first. It's just like when you're playing a sport, you always want to warm up. You don't want to run out and then start kicking a footy around because you might pull a muscle. And it's exactly like when you do other things. So when you're speaking, you want to warm up your voice. So, you know, like singers do it. Singers, you'll hear singers go, oh, they do all the, I can't sing, so I'm not going to do it because it'll sound horrible. So we do that, and that helps us feel more confident, because if we can speak and we don't slur our words or we get confused in our words, then that can undo our confidence. So we want to make sure our confidence is up, which is warming up. So I haven't actually warmed up for this one, but I'm going to do it now, and I'm going to get some crowd participation. So can everyone stand up, please? So first one we're going to do is arms up and sigh. So the next one is go bo 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 bo. That's it. We sound like a cop. And the next one is go just like when you're a kid. Go. So warm out your lips. And the next one is go la 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 la. You sort of just roll your arms. So. Gives your tongue a little workout. And the next one is a siren, so go wheel, wheel, wheel. Awesome, everyone can sit down.
Thanks, Warren.
Great. So everyone's warmed up, everyone can get up here and speak. To give you an example, like I do most of my public speaking, or do most of my public speaking, I guess, in front of, like at footy. So I go and speak in front of like the team or at footy clubs and all that type, and all those sort of crowds. And I would be driving to a game, and I knew I'd have to speak in front of my team, so I knew I didn't want to slur my words. If I slur my words, then I feel unconfident. So I'd do all those things, and I'd be looking in the mirror, and I'd just be driving along to the game and just going, and just like screaming, turning a radio up and just singing my head off, just so my voice is warmed up. So when it came to actually present my message, I knew what I was talking about. Or it came out of my vocal cords correctly, and my voice actually worked. So first thing, warm up. Next one is be big. So you want to be as big as you can. I learned this from an interview technique, which I don't know who taught me. Obviously, Ollie just pointed it out as well. If you're really small, then you feel unconfident. So if you're going into an interview and you're sitting there with your legs crossed and looking at your phone, then you go into an interview, then you're going to feel really unconfident. Whereas if you go in and you're sitting on the chair and you've got your arms out and your legs up, then this guy's a wanker. Well, you know, then that gives you the confidence. It gives you the confidence that makes it. And as Ollie said, it actually does do some chemical things. So does gambling. So if you want to feel confident, do a bit of gambling, and that actually gets the chemicals flowing in your brains, and then you feel more confident. So you want to be as big as you can. And I remember before we did our getaway presentation, we were standing at the back there, and Belle was in our team, obviously, and I was standing there and I was going, doing this. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Just make myself feel big." She's like, "You're such a weirdo." It's so weird. But that's how you feel big, and then you walk out stage, you're half as big, but you still feel confident. Next one is lean forward. So not lean forward and sort of intimidate everybody, but lean forward. So step on your toes. A lot of people, when they public speak, they stand like this and they put their one leg behind the other one. And you can probably see this from me right now. I don't look that confident if I stand here like this. Whereas if I stand here like this, I look more confident. You'll see a lot of speakers, they walk around the stage. So they walk around and they'll always be walking forwards. Whereas if I was walking backwards and doing the moonwalk kind of thing, if I was just slowly walking backwards, I don't look confident, do I? And it actually affects me. So I feel less confident right now by walking backwards. Whereas if I'm walking forwards, and I'm speaking and I'm walking forwards and I'm sort of owning the stage and I'm walking everywhere where I want to go, then that gives me confidence. Because I'm moving forwards, and I'm moving forward and presenting my message. So if you are going to stay still, it takes a lot of guts and a lot of confidence to stay in one place. If you are going to stay in one place, stay on your toes. Don't lean on your heels. You're not doing squats. You stay on your toes. And you can try not to bounce around, obviously, but you can stay on your toes. Be a comedian. Tell a joke. Obviously, we started this presentation with everyone getting up and being silly and having a laugh, and it breaks the ice and it makes everyone feel more relaxed. And when people are more relaxed and they're less closed off, because right now, most people, except for Amanda, most people are sitting here and they feel open. And you can... so you're like, oh, well, she feels relaxed. Oh, that's different.
Don't do that in an interview.
And you can see from the people you're talking to whether they're actually bringing a message in. If everyone's sitting there like this, then you need to open everyone up. You need to tell a joke. People open up when they're laughing, and it's a really good way to do it. So yeah, we started off, I got everyone up to jump around, that made everyone open up. So there's that little tiny technique. Next one is stop. The person who owns the silence in the room usually owns the room. So if I've got some hecklers over there and I stop talking, and this happens at footy clubs all the time because people are always getting drunk and they're always talking. So you're standing there and you go in front of everybody. We'll just wait for them to finish. Then everyone is like, shut up. To the other guys. And it can just drown them out. It can drown them out, but you haven't actually said anything. I guess it's the same as kids. Some of us have kids. Sometimes when the kids go crazy, you just sit there, you stop and look at them. And then they'll just go. And then they'll stop talking as well. So if you do feel flustered in a presentation, just stop. Know where you are, just breathe. And that's the next one, is breathing. So when you first walk out, you might have noticed why I did it right at the start there. Right, I sort of stood here and went, right. You need to feel relaxed when you're up when you're presenting. You need to feel like you own the room. A really easy way to do that is to stand there with confidence, on your toes, but breathe. Don't say anything, just take a deep breath and relax. Which is the next one. So when you feel relaxed, you own the room. And you're going to have more fun doing it as well. So think about your breathing and then think about relaxing. Some of the best speakers that I've ever seen are the most charismatic speakers. Some coaches that I've been around, they own the room. And they are just so good at getting everyone to get their message because they're so relaxed up on stage. You see some people when they're agitated and they want to fiddle with things and just kick the dirt. Probably not, because there's no dirt on the dirt up here, but but if you want to do that sort of stuff, then you do feel nervous and it will make you feel nervous. Whereas if you stand there, deep breath, relax, then you can portray your message. Sometimes when you get a little bit flustered, and I do it as well, because I'm not a very good public speaker. Like I want to be up here in public speaking, but I'm right down here. I've probably practiced a fair bit to be down there, but I want to be up here. And that's one thing that I still need to work on, is relaxing. So sometimes I get a little bit flustered, something doesn't work, and I just have to remind myself, just relax. You've got this. You can own the room, and you can be the person that everyone's focus is on by just relaxing. Another way to really relax when you first walk out, or when you first start presenting, is instead of talking to... See, if I'm talking to the back wall and I'm not looking at anybody, it's very difficult. Whereas if I have a conversation, all of us in the room can have a conversation very confidently with one person. I can have a conversation with Sharif, and I can just talk to Sharif one-on-one. And what's the difference between talking in a one-on-one situation compared to talking to a lot of people? Is the fact that we get a little bit nervous sometimes, and we're focusing on everyone's eyes at us. So one thing, you'll see presidents do it all the time. They're always sitting there, they're looking around. I'll have a conversation, and then I'll look at someone else. You want to look at people in the eyes because you want to talk to those people and bring them into the conversation. And sometimes when people aren't looking at you, you look at someone else and you look back at the person, then you look at someone else and you look back at the person. Amanda is actually looking at me, so she's not doing it. She's like, what am I doing wrong? I'm got my arms crossed anyway. And you see a lot of really, really good speakers do that. LeBron James is one of the best sports stars out there at the moment. And all of us probably know who LeBron James is. No, you don't have no. Anyway, he's a little tiny player. But basically, he does this thing before a game where he gets the, I think it's chalk, and he just goes bang, and does that. And if there's 100,000 people in that stadium, or 40,000, I don't know how many people fit in those basketball stadiums, say 40,000 or 100,000, yeah, say 40,000. He does that, 40,000 eyes are on him. Do you know what that does to his opposition? That crumbles their confidence because the whole crowd gives him his confidence. He's probably an extrovert, I'd probably say. Yeah? So he's got the crowd and he's owning the room, and that's what this presentation's about. It's about feeling confident and owning the room and feeling like you can do whatever you want to, you can say whatever you want to say, you can do whatever you want to do while you're up here, and everyone's going to focus on you and not look at their phones. You'll find that people who don't have the confidence, they'll be looking at their phones, they'll be like twiddling around with other things, and they won't be looking at the speaker. Whereas the charismatic, probably the best, think of the best speakers you've ever seen, you just cannot take your eyes off them. They're mesmerising. Everything that they do, you're just like, yep, yep, yep. And they could be like, jump up, and you're like, oh, I'll do that. Just because they have that power over you, because they've got the confidence and they're owning the room, they're owning the space they're in, which is a real talent. It's something that, I don't know if I'm owning this space well enough. I guess we can look back and look at the video later, and we can see if I am or not. And you can probably determine that on me and give me some feedback later and see if I am owning the room. And if I'm not, then I need to work on that and I need to improve on that. But if I am, then that's something that I have been working on and I'm trying to do it as best I can. Like, when, like you get confused and you forget what you're trying to say, and we all say this. We all say these tiny little things, like my wife said this to me once after a presentation at footy. She said, you say obviously so many times. And I was like, really? She's like, every time you speak you go obviously this and obviously that and obviously that. And it's like, it's obvious to you, it's not obvious to everyone else. Stop saying obviously. And it's a word that I keep saying, and now I've probably said it once. I'm going to say it 100 times for the rest of this presentation. It's very hard, and you're mentally trying to think when you're up here, don't say these words. And this is more, probably not more to focus on your confidence, but if you can not say these words, you come across as a more confident person. Think about a politician. If a politician, like Barack Obama or, I don't know, who's our Prime Minister? Some idiot.
Mr. Rabbit.
Mr. Rabbit. The White Rabbit, yeah. If he came up and he was on TV all the time saying, well, sort of, I mean, he did have that little stint where he was like, and everyone thought...
That would probably be better than he currently is.
And it doesn't fill you with great confidence. You think, if this guy can't speak in front of a camera or to his people, how the hell is he going to run a country? And he's probably not going to run a country very well. So it's some of those things that you've got to mentally think, don't say these things, don't say these things. And you're trying to remember what you have to say, and then you think you don't say these things, but you say them anyway. And you need a little reminder, like it'd be good if you could have a little, like a dog collar on your wrist, and every time you said you're like, yeah, and then oh, jeez. It'll probably zap you out of it pretty fast. Be prepared. That's another thing. A little bit out of focus. So when you're prepared, you have more confidence in your presentation. We did a presentation the other day and I wasn't very prepared for that, and I didn't feel that confident, and I personally think I didn't do that well in the presentation. But afterwards, someone said to me, nobody knew you weren't prepared. You could have winged it, and everyone would have thought, yeah, he's got this. So even though you have to be prepared, like be prepared for yourself. So when people ask you questions, like Ollie's obviously very prepared for her presentation, because all the questions that came back at her, she knew how to answer them. So she's prepared, she knows the knowledge, she knows what she was talking about. So she can talk about that. If you're unprepared and someone asks you a question, sometimes get a little bit flustered, or you might lose your place if you're unprepared. But sometimes when you're unprepared and you do lose your place, just wing it. Just fake it. Because you never know, you might just work out at the end and everyone thinks, wow, he really knew what he was talking about. And then you go, I kind of forgot half my presentation and I forgot half the things I was going to say because I didn't practice them. Another thing with be prepared is practicing in front of the mirror or practicing your speech. So I can go, obviously I practiced this one, I practiced this with my wife. The first time I did it, I practiced with my wife, and then I practiced for about 2 hours in front of the mirror. And I talk in front of the mirror all the time. Yeah. Yes, the guy looking back is such a good conversationalist. He gets me. No, I've been sitting in our bedroom. We've obviously got big mirrors that. Don't tell my wife I told you that. No, the wardrobe has mirrors on it.
Is this your camera?
Yeah. Yeah, done through the history of that. Has big mirrors on it. And I remember sitting there before games, I'd be sitting there, I'd be thinking, if I can get the players up, and I can portray what I want to say correctly, and I can motivate them, then we're going to win the game. If I can't, and if I say something wrong, then they're not going to buy in what I'm selling. So then they're just going to give up. So I've got to practice that. And I'll be sitting in front of the mirror, looking at myself, just talking to myself, going, oh, you know, well, what am I saying? Oh, you know. I'll be looking at myself in the mirror, I'll be saying, determination, effort, these are the things, and I'll be looking at my facial expressions, and I'll be thinking, is this the right body language? If I say, guys, you've got to be determined, then they'll be like, I look like an idiot. Then I've got to feel confidence in me, whereas I go, guys, be determined, get in there, win the ball, win the hard ball. This is what we love doing, this is what we really love doing. And then I think, oh, I can feel that energy off myself, and I get pretty pumped up when I look at myself and I'm giving myself a pump-up speech. And I think, this is going to work. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say this same thing. I'm going to practice. And that's about practicing. Be prepared. Say your speeches in front of everybody else, in front of the mirror. Even in front of the mirror, if you're on your way somewhere and you're looking in the rearview mirror and you're just talking to yourself. Just practice and just say the things, because it's amazing. The stuff you prepare on paper, then you start saying it out loud and you go, that sounds so stupid. Like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, I wrote it down and it sounds awesome on paper. Then I started reading it and I started saying it doesn't make sense. So practice, practice, practice. Finally, have fun. Because there's no point getting up here and just not having fun, not having a laugh. Like, if you can get up and you can get everybody a bit of participation, everyone laughing and everyone's enjoying it and you're enjoying it and you're having confidence in your speaking and you're just having a bit of fun, then you're more relaxed. You learn more when you have fun. There's lots of studies. If you want to learn more, play a game and have fun. People are more confident when they play games and have fun. That's probably why hackathons are so much fun. Because it's like a game, and everyone wants to hack it out. Again, it's a lot of fun. It's a game, and so we'll learn a lot more, and we probably become better programmers or better developers because we're hacking it out, and it gives us the confidence. And it's just like presenting. Go up there, have a bit of fun. Who cares what people think? People can judge you. Of course, they can judge you. Everyone can judge you. Some people are judgy people, like our Eileen, because it's in her personality, and there's probably a few others in the room that are judgy people, and that's what you want. You want people to judge you, but you want to have a bit of fun, and the more fun you have, less judgy people are, maybe. Not sure. So, any questions?
Can we hear a little bit more about you pumping yourself up in the mirror?
Oh, you want a pump-up speech? No, it's alright. It's alright.
That's just reassuring them.
Well, you didn't mention anything about navigation in your speech there. I know that's one I've heard a lot. Have you ever had trouble with that? Like, obviously, you're trying to guide the crowd or your team or anything else through the material or the idea or wherever it is. Have you ever had to deal with the navigation problem? Like, as in they don't know where you're going, where you're starting from, where you're headed? Or do you find that you just get that from looking in the mirror so much that it figures it out?
Do you mean like where the crowd? Like
so you've got a set of material, you're pumping it up for a game, or you're trying to teach someone some new idea, some new way to have fun. How do they know where you are in the presentation if you haven't given them navigation? Or do you find you just do that?
Do you mean the navigation down the bottom, like actual physical
No,
navigation, or
well,
just
it can be. That's one way to do it.
how to direct the crowd to where you want them to go?
Just, I guess, giving them an idea where you're up to in the journey. So effectively, when you're doing a speech, it's a journey. They might not know where you are or where you're headed. Probably one of the things, I don't know, obviously you've done a bit of work on this, but have you ever had that problem, like in one of your speeches? You think people always bear with you?
I've probably never really thought about it, to be honest.
I mean, like saying, when you were saying, I'm here, but I want to be here first.
No, I think it was the guide
What's
to
the
the
outline
whole
of the
presentation.
speech?
You don't know how long the presentation is going to be. You don't know if you're going to end any second or if you're like
Is that what you mean?
in the middle of it. Or
Pretty much most of the material you see, whether it's a book, whether it's a speech, the wood ones always are about knowing it. You know, is this the bit I'm meant to focus on, or is this just the warm-up bit?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it can be helpful to say, oh, we're going to go through a bit of a warm-up first, guys, so we get you in the mood. You kind of did that. You went on to realise you did it, but you did do that.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the details, and at the end we're going to have questions.
Yeah, that's a good
Do you think
point.
that helps with confidence,
Definitely
though, Scott, or is that presenting in general? Like does it help you as a presenter?
I don't think it matters whether it helps you or not.
Yeah.
I think because the whole output of this is nothing to do with you. You do, all those things will help you do a better job, but the output ultimately is, like you said, the material has to reach the people.
Mm.
It has
I
to
guess-
get people pumped up for the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what this talk was about, though.
What's
So,
that?
yeah.
I got the
That's
impression
confidence.
that's more about content and yours is more about the actual presentation and
Yes.
delivery of it.
So I don't think navigation comes into that.
No,
It might come into the, I guess, the confidence of it. Like you were saying, if you kind of forget where you are, or you look at I guess when you're looking at people, when you're presenting, when you're public speaking, sometimes you can tell if you work on it and you work on body language, you can look at everybody and you think, maybe everyone looks a bit lost. And then you're like, why does everyone feel lost? Maybe I'm not portraying the right point, or maybe I'm not coming up with the right thing. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, maybe I'm not spending enough time. I have to spend a bit more time getting people like.
People nod when they get it, usually.
You didn't mention that either, and we were doing it a lot.
Nodding.
Yeah, I know you were looking for it, I could tell.
Not everybody knows. Not everybody knows. I nod.
One thing I think you missed
In the bleachers.
which you did anyway, by the way, is interacting with an audience. Like I know that's one slide that I'd say definitely should be in there, which you did anyway as a presenter. Because I know when I'm listening to a presentation or presenting to somebody, I feel like it's a much more powerful message or powerful presentation when you interact with the audience, and I don't think that was in there as part of the presentation style. Do you see what I mean? Like interacting with different parts of the audience definitely is what you
But that
do
gives,
anyway.
I guess what Sharon was saying, like this presentation was about how to be confident for yourself.
Yeah.
So do you think that would make you more confident if you can interact with everybody?
Yeah. I think in there you said about what presentation style works and how to sort of
Conversation stuff type of
Yeah.
thing with it.
Yeah.
So if you're really wanting to have a conversation, you have to feel like you're connected.
So there's nothing worse than somebody reading from a PowerPoint presentation. And
Exactly.
you're just like
Yeah.
fall off your chair halfway through.
And they're standing like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done that a few times.
This might be a bit more of an observation, just curiosity, but in any area of research, have you looked into like translating some of this to virtual meetings? I think for a lot of us, we're obviously now dealing with this problem. I'm finding with stand-ups where stand-up is actually crouching over a 15-inch MacBook with 3 other people, and so that stand-up, project your voice, walk around the room is quite hard to do.
Yeah.
And obviously you can't read the body language of people receiving the message as well as you can in the room. So have you done any research or read anything about how to translate some of these techniques onto a virtual environment?
No.
Okay.
Sounds like that would be an excellent topic though.
I was just going to say, that'd be a good topic to do.
Because a lot of people look at the camera, like look at the people,
Well,
cameras
yeah.
there, and it's not eye contact.
And we just
You
had
can't
this
look at someone in the eyes and actually understand what they're saying. It is very, that's a really good point.
I had this problem we noticed the other day. We've been putting it up on the big screen so we can see the screen and we can see them, but we're all looking at the screen and the webcam's over here. So you just feel like our message isn't going to come across as well if we're not looking. But it's, I don't know, maybe we need some physical, office changes so we've actually got standing places where there's an iMac or a Thunderbolt display where you can go and actually still stand up, look in their eyes. I don't know.
Stand up the llama and put a camera on his head.
I love the llama.
Yeah, I like the points about, like making stuff big and that kind of thing.
I don't have
One thing the other day when Dave Drinkle was up here, and I don't know how anyone was on talk, but I don't think it was intentional, but he just sat down on the chair and he just talked to us. And for me, I thought that was a display of confidence that he knew the topic. He was going to converse with us on, like, he wasn't speaking not so much down to us or at us. It was just like, here's the information and we're all part of it. It's like, so.
I guess there's different types of presentations.
Yeah.
So there's meetings, which is a meeting. Then there's the workshop, which sitting down, everyone's asking participation. Then there's the presentations where you're more like a lecturer, I guess, and you sort of do like a TED talk where people get up there and they don't actually get any questions at the end. And then you've got a bit of both. So there's lots of different types of ways to present. But I guess, if that makes you feel more confident, sitting down, and if that gives you the confidence, then That's all it's about.
Yeah.
So if you can project your confidence to everybody else, and that might have made Dave feel really confident. Personally, looking at him with the body language, just not to judge too much, because the message was fantastic, but he did not look confident at all.
No, I think
And
he did
looking at his body language, he
everything
kept putting his hand between his legs,
Yes.
and he let crossing his things,
Yeah, I
and I
saw
thought
that.
he looks so nervous right now.
But isn't
Either that or he really needs to pee.
Isn't
But
the
he's-
difference though? He's got such confidence in his domain knowledge that it doesn't matter if he's talking to you or
Yeah.
he knows exactly what he's talking about.
There's
So
no
it's kind of
question
irrelevant.
though.
The presentation style is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
There's no question about his
He
domain
knows
knowledge.
topics.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he gets.
I don't think there's a question about his domain
That
knowledge.
is not a
But,
presenter,
yeah,
so I think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't presenting. Not really. He was
I
educating.
think there's a difference between confidence in speaking aloud to multiple people and just confidence talking about a subject. He put the context of that discussion in a place where he was comfortable.
Yeah.
And to have a discussion, that's why he put it like that, so he was confident. This talk is specifically talking about how personally for you to think about the things to be able to present and show and exude confidence in front of people and talking to many people about a certain subject.
I temper that with there's no point being confident and 100% confident if you don't know your topic, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go out there and start bouncing around and you have no idea what you're talking about, I'm going to think you're a moron.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because
Still have to be prepared.
Fine line.
yeah, definitely.
You sound like an
Leadership, you never know.
Yeah.
As leaders, you never know 100% of the whole picture.
But at least have a basis, right?
Yeah, exactly. But exactly that point, like where you can always understand a picture of it and not be able to answer every specific support thing. work did cover that though too.
Yeah,
You did talk about how
yeah,
confident I was because you knew your stuff. Yeah, exactly.
I think with Dave too, like
didn't
Dave
feel
was
it.
with peers, right? So he's sitting down talking in a quiet room doing that thing. But I reckon if he was at some external conference to people who he didn't know, he wouldn't be sitting like this with his laptop going, so yeah, what the network do this?
I was just going to say, right, so I've lectured. There's a significant difference between lecturing and doing this. A significant difference. It doesn't even matter if the topics that I'm talking about are similar. There is a there's difference in the preparation, there's difference in how you do it, there's difference in how you stand, there's difference in how you talk. It's significantly different. And I would liken what Dave did the other day to a lecture, not to a presentation.
Well, like the panel where there's a bunch of people behind the desk and it's a more relaxed kind of
It's like it's almost like he knew we needed to hear what he was saying.
Yes.
Whereas when he
We were voluntarily
it's like I hope they want to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you've got to use your body and everything else to get them to connect and listen. Whereas we almost
Engage,
had to
yeah.
listen to Dave.
Cool.
Good talk.